Hi guys, welcome to your channel DNA. So in our last lecture, we tested the connectivity within the VPC and between the VPC. Just review quickly. US VM1 NIC0 can able to reach U Europe Central to VM1 NIC0. But at the same time, when US VM1 trying to reach NIC1 of Europe VM instance 1 ping, there will be no ping response right from the Europe machine. Why? Because this NIC1 is something connected to the VPC2, and for VPC2, VPC1 doesn't have any route. Currently, how many route VPC1 has? Only 4 route. Route 1, route 2, route 3 and route 4. Why? Like a subnet, right? Like a legacy network, router creates a routing table for its content interface. Similar way, VPC can create a route table for its associate or created subnets. Perfect. Now, but I would like to ping the US VM1 NIC0 and Europe Central to VM NIC1 interface through VPC2. It should, right? It should be. But but because of the default route behavior, all the traffic whenever you will initiate it on US VM instance 1 from US VM instance 1 to Europe instance VM 0, it will send by default over the NIC0. Why? Because default route is something pointing towards the NIC0. Correct? So is any way? Yes, we have a way where you can connect. You can connect these two VPC together. We call it as a VPC peering. We call it as a VPC peering. But without VPC, can we add any configuration on an instance so that instance can send and receive the traffic through NIC1? Yes, by default route is pointing towards the NIC0, but you can add a specific route in the instance and pointing towards the NIC1. Before go there, every subnet has a default gateway. For example, this NIC1, this NIC1 is connected to 10.2.1.0/24. Whatever traffic is not matched in the local VM instance table, it will send it to the default route. But my requirement, I would like to add a static route in an instance where my next stop will be the gateway address of subnet, this subnet. So the first IP address is the gateway IP address for all the subnetworks, like 10.2.1.0. For this, my gateway is a 10.2.1.1. Example now 10.2.11.2. This IP address belongs to 10.2.11.0/24 network. So for this NIC, my gateway is 10.2.11.1. Now tell me guys, this consider this VPC2 as a router. This VPC2 as a router. If this NIC want to reach Europe VM1 NIC1, so what you have to do? You have to add a static route in the instance itself. Static route आपको ऐड करना पड़ेगा instance के अंदर. And what will be the next stop? Of course, NIC1 default gateway is a 10.2.1.1. So you have to add static route for remote subnet, which is 10.2.11.0/24 and pointing towards the 10.2.1.1. Similar way for reverse routing in the Europe VM instance 1, you have to add static route in the in the instance for destination 10.2.1.0/24 towards next stop NIC1 gateway, which is 10.2.11.1. Clear? So let's go and add routes in the VM instances without having VPC peering. So let's SSH the device. Okay, let me try US VM1 SSH. At the same time, initiate the SSH session for Europe VM1. It will take time. Okay, before add static route, just try to ping NIC 0 address 10.2.11.2 from US. Try to ping 10.2.11.2, which is the Europe VM1 NIC 1 IP address. Oh, it's double ping, my bad. See guys, I'm not able to ping. Why? Because if you look at this US VM1 routing table, IP route show, you have to go to the sudo su IP route show. You can see the default route pointing towards the 10.1.1.1, right? And other than, you have a directly connected route which is for NIC 0 and NIC 1. You do not have a route for subnet 10.2.11.2. So what will happen? This destination 10.2.11.2 will match under default route, which is via 10.1.1.1. What is happening here? All the traffic for destination or traffic for destination 10.2.11.1, now this VM sending towards the NIC 0. No. I don't want to send that traffic towards the NIC 0 over the VPN VPC network 1. VM instance should take a path via NIC 1. Okay, let's go and add a command. How to add a command? IP route add destination prefix. What is the destination prefix? We are at US. We have to add destination prefix for Europe. So 10.2.11.0/24 and via. Via means next stop address. For for this VM US VM instance 1, the next stop will be the NIC 0 default NIC 1 default gateway, which is 10.2.1.1. Perfect. My local IP address is 10.2.1.2, but my default gateway is 10.2.1.1. Okay. Next stop is 10.2.1.1. So what will happen? One route will get automatically add into the routing table. Okay. Show execute a command. Show IP route show. See guys. Here you go. One route has been now added into the instance local table, routing table, instance routing table. This is not a VPC routing table, right? This is the instance routing, VM instance routing table. And where now we have added 10, if you would like to reach 10.2.11.0/24, traffic should send via 10.2.1.1, right? Which is default gateway configured on the GCP network, right? We do not have any control over there. Now, let's try and initiate the ping, right? As soon as you initiate the ping for 10.1.12.2, oh my bad, actually we have to add route for 10.2.11.2, 10.2 dot, what was the IPv ping guys? 10.2.11.2, yeah, this is correct one. 10.2.11.2, yes, absolutely correct. 10.2.11. It's hung 11.2. Yes, we do have a route. Now, Prasad, you have added a route. Explicitly, you have added a route 10.2.11.0/24 and pointing towards the VPC2 NIC 1 gateway 10.2.1.1. Still, you are not able to ping. Why? I am telling you. The reason behind it, I am sure 100% traffic, this VM is sending traffic over the NIC1. NIC1 process the traffic through VPC2 and it is sending to the Europe VM1. But what happened in this case, whenever VM1 sending traffic through NIC1, at that time your source IP address is, your SRC IP is 10.2.1.2 and your destination IP is 10.2.11.2. So what will happen when this Europe VM1 will respond back to the US VM1? At that time, source become a destination. So for this machine, your destination IP will be 10.2.1.2, which is the IP address of US VM1 NIC0. But this Europe VM1 does have a route for 10.2.1.2. Let's go and check VM instance route table. Let me see. Okay, here you go. Europe VM1, then IP route show. No, you do not have any single route for 10.2.1. network. You have one default route which is pointing towards the NIC0. You have a connected route, NIC0 connected route, and NIC1 connected route, but you do not have any route. So do one thing. Let's continue ping this IP address 10.2.11.2 and now add static reverse route for US VM1 VM1 NIC1 subnet. So IP route add 10 dot what's the IP address 10.2.1.0 10.2.1.0 slash 24 via. Now via means for this VM NIC1 default gateway is 10.2.11.1. So my next stop would be 10.2.11.1. My next stop will be 10.2.11.1. Okay, confirm. Let's double check. Yes, 10.2.11.1. Enter. As soon as you hit enter, oh, operation failed. My bad. Sudo. So you must require the root permission IP route at 10.2.1.0 slash 24 via 10.2.11.1. Hit enter. See guys, here you go. Now immediately you got to respond, right? Why? Because traffic is forwarded towards the Europe region, but Europe region and Europe instance, even though traffic is received by the Europe VM1 on NIC1, but because of the reverse routing issue, US VM1 we are not getting a response. Here, so without VPC peering, guys, you can route the traffic through any other VPC. Okay, so let's move on. Consider now, try to reach VPC to network to US Europe Central VM2 IP address. Now this IP address is 10.2.12.2, means network is subnetwork is 10.2.12.0/24. Do you have route in this instance? Do you have route in this instance? No, you do not have a route in this instance. So what will happen? It will always match with the default route. So what you have to do? You have to add a static route and again pointing towards the 10.2.1.1. Why? Because your NIC1 having a default gateway 10.2.1.1. So you always put a default route towards the 10.2.1.1. Okay, let's go and try to ping Europe VM2 having only one single NIC. Okay, go ahead and log into the US VM, and from there you can check the connectivity. Ping 10.2.12.2. It will not. Why? If you look at the local routing table of this instance, you will see the default route, two connected routes, and one static route, which is for Europe subnet 1. Similar way, you have to add the static route for 0 subnet 2, so that it will route it through the NIC 1 and VPC 2. Okay, come on. IP route add 10.2.12.0/24 via, of course, for me, my next stop would be 10.2.1.1. Enter. Then try to ping the IP address 10.2.12.2, which is the Europe IP address. Here you go. I am able to ping. But PD tell me, without reverse route, how does it possible? For this VM instance, you have add a reverse route, but for this instance, you do not have add any static route. Why I am telling you? The reason behind it, because this VM has only one single NIC, which is NIC 0, and by default, your default route is always pointing towards the NIC 0 gateway. Simple. Then what will happen? Right? These NIC 1 IP address belongs to the VPC2 subnetwork. VPC2 subnetwork, and the Europe VM2 NIC 0 IP address belongs to the VPC network 2 subnetwork. So for VPC, these two subnetworks 10.2.12.0 and 10.2.1.0/24 within the same VPC. So within the same VPC, we do not require any routing. By default, all route exchange between the regions. That is the reason we are able to ping the Europe subnet 2 IP address from US VM1 having the multiple NIC. In case this Europe VM1 has a multiple NICs or multiple interfaces, and other than NIC 0, other interfaces connected to VPC2, at that time we would require a reverse routing, like we did for a Europe VM1. Clear? Okay. Now do one thing. This subnet and the subnet 1 connected to the NIC 1 directly, but this US VM3 is belongs to the same region but with a different subnet. So what will happen in this case? In this case, again, when this US VM1 is trying to reach 10.2.2.2, it will look for the route first, because it has a 2 NIC. It has a 2 NIC. Now you have added route for this subnetwork. You have added route for this subnetwork. You already have a connected route. Why? Because this NIC1 belongs to this subnetwork only. Now, if you try to reach 10.2.2.0/24, you will not able to ping. Why? Because it will match with the default route. You must add a specific route for this subnetwork 10.2.2.0/24. Okay, let's go and first try to ping 10.2.2.2. No, I cannot. Why? Because if I look at my US VM1 local routing table, I can see the entry for default route, I can see the entry for connected route, and I can see the two static route pointing towards the NIC 1. So, looking at this routing table, I do not have any route for 10.2.2.0/24. No. Again, go and add the route. Show, IP route, add 10.2.2.0 space IP route at 10.2.2.0/24 via 10.2.1.1, which is NIC1 default gateway. Okay, now go and try to ping 10.2.2.2. Here you go. I can. Why? Because now this local VM instance has a route for 10.2.2.2. Okay, correct? See. Perfect. So conclusion, without having any VPC pairing, you can allow the communication between the multiple interface VM instances, but for that you have to explicitly or manually add a routes in a local instance table. 1 VM, 2 VM, 3 VM, 5 VM doesn't have any issue. But if you have 100 VMs having a different connected to different VPC and have a multiple interfaces, it's very difficult to manage the manual routing. So the one and one solution is VPC peering or VPC sharing. VPC peering allows you to access the resources or instances between the two different VPCs, right? Without having any static routing. So we will not change anything in the VM level. We will peer the two VPC and these two VPC will exchange their connected subnet route to each other. Clear? So thank you so much. I will come up with the part 4 where I will show you the VPC peering demo. Thank you so much. Bye bye.